Oh, did you? Okay.
Everybody's. Yeah, right.
I know we're supposed to wear a jacket. I didn't get the memo.
Oh, I mean, for some of us, it's a moment.
Some of us. But we're not Hall of Famers.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Hi. I'm going to call this meeting to order. If you would, follow along with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation with Ted Martin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Board. Please join me in prayer. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for another beautiful day in the Ozarks. Father, tonight we invite you into these chambers as we discuss the city business, the agenda items. We pray that all of those are working towards your glory and your honor as we serve the citizens and the businesses of Branson, Missouri. Father, there's so much to be thankful for, from a board that serves voluntarily to employees like Kyle Knutson that make a huge impact on our city staff each day, to even citizens like Mimi Alman that is making a huge impact here in Branson with her work through the Holocaust Memorial resources. There's a lot of great things about Branson, Missouri, a great place to live, work, and play. And we give you all the thanks and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Ted. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Benton.
Here.
Denham. Here. Cooper.
Here.
Milton.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Howden.
Here.
LeBlanc.
Here.
Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll start this evening with Alderman LeBlanc. Would you please present the Employee of the Month Award for April, please? Kyle, are you in the room? Oh, there he is.
They don't have an X, but this is where you would stand. On behalf of the Mayor, Board of Aldermen, City Administrator, and City staff, it is my honor to announce Public Works and Engineering Sign Shop Technician Kyle Knutson as a City of Branson April 23rd Service and Excellence Employee of the Month. Congratulations. This award recognizes employees who have gone above and beyond and whose performance exemplifies the City of Branson's values. Kyle was nominated for his outstanding teamwork and cooperation. He recently took the initiative and learned Spanish on his own time and volunteers to use his skill to help other departments when they need a translator. This comes in handy frequently with police, human resources department. Kyle also started a monthly safety newsletter for his department to make sure everyone stays current on safety standards and policies. He routinely goes out of his way to help others with no need for recognition. Well, not today, buddy. Congratulations and keep up the great work. Thank you. Fantastic.
Thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting the city of Branson. This is a great place to work. It's a great place to live. I love living here in Branson, Missouri, and that's why I decided to work here. Just keep doing good things and keep God in Branson. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Mr. Mayor, I want to give a shout out to the Branson High School class of 2010 because Kyle graduated with me. I'm very proud of Kyle. He had another great idea that he threw out to and I've actually told Kathy about having a banquet for the Adopt a Street program to keep that open and active. And so I think we might examine that, Kyle. You have great ideas, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Just like his mama.
Kyle, your award begs the question, did you make that sign? Okay, just checking.
I have proclaimed April 16th through April 22nd as Holocaust Education and Awareness Week in Branson, Missouri. Shira Miriam Amon will be accepting this proclamation. Is she in the room? Oh, I'll meet you right down. I'd like to read this for you. Whereas the Never Again Education Act was signed into Missouri state law in 2022 to bring Holocaust education into schools, and whereas while anti-Semitism has escalated worldwide into a climate of hatred, education awareness are key to combat this hatred and to alert our youth the dangers of repeating the mistakes of the past. And whereas the Anti-Semitism Education Center of the Ozarks, along with the Branson Regional Arts Council, Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, Community Foundation of the Ozarks, and Yad Vashem. Pretty good. Of the Israel World Holocaust Remembrance Center have united to create an entire week filled with special events dedicated to educating Branson residents, businesses, community, and guests about this issue. And whereas these events begin with a free community film event on Sunday, April 16th at 2 p.m. at the historic Owen Theater and concludes on Saturday, April 22nd at the Taney Hills Library at 10:30 a.m. with a living testimony from a Holocaust survivor. And whereas citizens and community members should seek out these events to support these education and awareness events. Now, therefore, I, Larry Milton, Mayor of the City of Branson, Missouri, do hereby proclaim April 16th to the 22nd, 2023, as Holocaust Education and Awareness Week.
First of all, this is beautiful. It's a real treasure. And I thank you, Mayor. And I love the city of Branson. I'm a dual citizen, and I tell everybody I live in the best of both worlds. I live in Branson, Missouri, in the Ozarks, and I live in Jerusalem, in Israel. And right now, I'm in my favorite place, Branson. Thank you for doing this. I'm really proud and encouraged by the support that I received from various ones already in the community in regard to what's about to happen next week. And I would just encourage all of you to come to one or all of the events because they'll be very special. And so thank you again, Mayor, and thank you to my community.
Thank you. And I would ask that for the decorum rules for public comment is the citizens have the opportunity to ask board member questions. It is their choice whether they want to respond. However, I do believe strongly that our aldermen, for the time they put in and their dedication, their heart to our city, that they're given that respect. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
Your Honor, the first speaker is Alex McCauley, 200 Box Elder Lane, Forsyth, speaking on overcoming citizen apathy.
Hello, and congratulations on re-election.
Thank you.
Citizen apathy. The thing is, citizens don't know their role in government, and therefore we don't take an active role in government. Therefore, one of the things that we've been doing is, and this has, in my opinion, almost come to the point of almost abusing you guys because we don't understand. I've been addressing the council, and what we as citizens don't realize is that a lot of what we talk about in this meeting is our opinions on the consent agenda, and that should be what we keep comments to. Now, I think that probably a meeting outside of this should be where we talk about other things that could be on our platter. And that's basically, I've been working on a concept where the representatives, executives, and other public servants could come together with the citizens to counsel on either pruning back laws that may not be necessary or making laws that are necessary. And I'll keep you posted on this. One of the things we've been doing to keep people educated on recent events is that we've got a website up called nomorejab.wordpress.com. It's an educational site, and it has information on, anyway, I've got, with that, we as people need to come together with you guys without butting heads. And I understand that that's probably what we've been doing over the last few months. And we also need to be coming together with the people that we think are that we think are the local root of these problems. And I think we ought to do it on an individual basis first before we come to you. So thank you very much for being such a great council. And
Thank you for saying that, Alex. Madam Clerk?
Your Honor, our next speaker is Ricky Zaitz, 3000 Green Mountain Drive, speaking on health.
I'm also talking on a bill that is currently House Bill 1169. So this isn't just my views, but there are political actions going on because of contaminants.
Need to speak in the mic, please. We have people listening online.
Oh, okay. We provide information. That's our mission. Our mission is to save lives. The vaccine has caused many deaths. The coagulation in the blood, 3-foot-long blood clots, strokes. I know of many incidents. I have had many friends die. We are here to provide information on our site, along with the political information that we are talking about. Yes, sir?
What public comment is for things that this board can take action on or something that we can do. We discuss this meeting after meeting. There is nothing this board can do to affect the vaccines that are being given. Nothing we can do to affect that. Go ahead.
Let me put it this way. All of us were together in the beginning. You were being, treated very poorly, and we saw that. Everybody here basically are rebels that protesters decided to take an action in their government. I was there. I was part of that. I was part of your group. I was part of this organization.
That was
All I'm-
something that we could do because the city mandated masks.
Okay.
So the city, that's something the city could do, was to remove the mask mandate because they placed the mask mandate.
That's true.
This board can do nothing about the COVID shot.
Also, stop a compulsory vaccination. That was another thing you guys worked hard at, and I appreciate everything you've done. And of course, I've supported you all the way through this, and I'm so glad that you're back. And there's not other members here, other people. But all I'm providing is information to the public. We believe that through this process, and it's not just here, we are doing it in other locations, to let people know if they go to our site that they can make decisions themselves about what they want to do on a life and death situation. So, nomorejab.wordpress.com is a vital resource to the city. We were hoping that we could get it included somewhere for information, additional information. Again, everybody makes their own decision about what they're going to do. But if we can save lives, prolong lives, and have better quality of life, that's our only mission here. I could care less about anything else. It's Jesus Christ, Him crucified, everything else is a bunch of bunk. And I would appreciate, I'm going to hand you out our website, and I would appreciate if you would go to the website and look at the material that we have available. And I know you say that maybe we're not relevant, but we are relevant, and we're very relevant if we save lives. It's the same job that a policeman does when he brings someone back to life. We feel that our mission is crucial, and there are a lot of people that believe the same way we do, but they don't get up and speak. And it's not like I enjoy being chastised when I come up here or any of the other things that we do. This isn't something that I go, oh boy, I need Larry to give me a hard time tonight. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. We come here because we know this is a mission that God's put us on. And this city is very special. This city is extremely special prophetically. But I just wanted to bring attention to our website. We're going to continue to do research. We're doing research for the benefit of the citizens of Branson and anyone else that would be watching, and we want them to go to our website. This is not about me. This is not about anything else. This is about living, keeping life going, and informing the public. And that's the only reason I'm here. That's the only reason I'm here. And I'm going to hand out my card, and I want to ask you, each one of you, to look at our site and the material on it. I think you might find it extremely informative.
Okay, thank you. The protocol would be to give Hillary anything you wanted to hand out to the board, please.
Where's my applause?
Madam Clerk, next speaker, please. Thank you.
Your Honor, the next speaker is Gary Groman, 350 South Wildwood Drive, speaking on There is a Time for Everything.
On a good news note, this is the last time that I will be up here, absent some special circumstance. So you'll be one short from now on. There is a time for everything. Among other things, an author much wiser than I said, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time for war, a time for peace, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to tear down, a time to build, a time to love, and a time to hate. The election last week indicates to me that this should be a time for peace, healing, building, mending, and in an agape sense, love. One reason I feel that way is there was no opposition in the Aldermanic elections. Those aldermen's unopposed runs indicate to me that the voters were satisfied with them and the way they served them. A second reason I feel that way is that the campaign for mayor wasn't primarily a campaign on issues. To me, its primary focus was to get rid of Larry Milton and Kathy Stepp with no substantial basis for such removal. Forgotten by those weaving the story of their own defeat was the old Abraham Lincoln adage, you can fool some of the people all the time and all the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. They did not fool the majority of Branson voters at all. Another reason is the feeling of excitement, hope, and energy that I feel from those members of the city staff, both senior staff and the worker bees like myself, that I interact with. In my 3 decades of involvement with the city of Branson, I have witnessed nothing like it or the genuine respect, affection they have for Kathy Stepp. I believe that you have a dream team, unlike any other board has ever had, to help you lead Branson. The only thing that can stop us is if we shoot ourselves in the foot. The fourth reason for feeling that way is my belief and faith that each of you has consistently voted the way your conscience dictates, and that will not change. Anyone that believes Larry Milton controls the way you vote is a few cards short of a full deck. I may occasionally disagree with your opinions, as I did with some of you and then Alderman Milton regarding COVID masking. However, I have never doubted the integrity or honesty of your votes. Based on years of personal knowledge, I have complete faith in Mayor Milton that in those relatively few occasions when he will have to break a tie, he will cast his vote in the same manner. Truly, there is a time for everything. I pray that your leadership will make this a time of peace, mending, building, and love, as you and the dream team provided you lead Branson into its tomorrows and help it become an even better place to live, work, and visit.
Thank you, Gary. Madam Clerk.
Your Honor, our final speaker is Cherry Webster, 118 Country Bluff Drive, speaking on Alderman Representation Part 3.
Mayor Milton, praise God, you're still our mayor. 2 more years of public servanthood, transparency, and accountability.
Thank you.
Good evening. Alderman Fenton, Alderman Cooper, Alderman Rodriguez. Yes, unfortunately, Part 3. God help us if there's a Part 4. We, the people, elect officials to represent our interests at all government levels. We, the people, are obligated to hold those elected officials accountable for their actions. How do we do that? Transparency. How do we do that? One way is utilizing records requests under the Sunshine Law. Another way is exercising our right to speak during the public comments section of Alderman hearings. Many times, the facts presented are not favorable. Citizens' comments may even come across as challenging the actions of officials. Facts speak for themselves. We can't change them. They are what they are. My presentations on March 14th and March 28th addressed a 5-month period where there was an intentional refusal of regular communication between 3 aldermen and the new city administrator. This stemmed from their 3 votes last September to not hire her because they didn't like the hiring process. 3 more votes in January attempted to fire her. Although I highly respect Alderman Rodriguez standing publicly for a principle he espoused, it would appear more beneficial to the city if all aldermen took the opportunities to meet and build relationships. We all know from prior Administrator Dobbins' statements that he met monthly 1-on-2 with each ward's alderman. Kathy Stepp extended an invitation to meet monthly 1-on-1. 3 aldermen chose to do so from the beginning, meeting even bi-monthly and bi-weekly. The concern I thought I expressed in parts 1 and 2 was that, like any relationship, be it spousal, parent-child, employer-employee, that the alderman-city administrator relationships would certainly function better with regular communication. It would improve representing constituents and sharing ideas and objectives for each ward. Perhaps I didn't clearly send that message, and instead my presentation of facts have been viewed as personal attacks. Since the last hearing, I was sent to the principal's office, so to speak. I even had my knuckles rapped with a wooden ruler, so to speak, and I was lectured on decorum. The thought came to me, does decorum trump accountability? Also, since the last hearing, the city has had another election. There is still not a majority of 4 aldermen to fire this extraordinary administrator. She's here to stay. The city's engine of 6 aldermen, a mayor, and an administrator needs to be running on all 8 cylinders and in 5th gear. It would seem if that engine were finely tuned and communications were flowing, it would be for the good of the city. There's excitement from the elections. You won, Alderman Fenton. Alderman Cooper, congratulations. Tonight, let's start a new endeavor. All of you share a commitment of time and effort to this city and a desire for its success. This is so greatly appreciated. You all have talents, skills, and ideas to propel Branson to greater heights, achieve higher goals, and reap a multitude of blessings for its residents and visitors. I propose this. Since there's not going to be a they won or she won, how about we get as close to a win-win as we can? How about the four of us just own it? Put this boycotting issue behind us and move on in a united front. I'll go first. Alderman Cooper and Alderman Fenton, I am truly sorry you were offended by the facts. I apologize if using the public comments forum was upsetting and appeared berating. Perhaps it wasn't the most appropriate vehicle to use to hold elected officials accountable. I apologize if my statements came across as personal attacks or violating decorum. Would you join me now in burying the hatchet so we can avoid hindering progress and splintering among this body? Your turn.
Our turn for what?
Would you join me now in burying the hatchet so we can avoid hindering progress and splintering among this body?
I'd just like you to get a life and leave me alone. Thank you.
Does that mean you're going to schedule an appointment with her?
Ma'am, I don't work for you,
Clay, let me.
and I don't need you to come up here and do this to me week after week, okay? Thank you.
Understood.
Yeah.
Jerry,
If you want to run this city, then get your name on a ballot, okay?
Understood.
here's my opinion. I know in the previous administration, what worked was Stan Dobbins had one-on-one meetings, or one-on-two meetings with the aldermen, and that worked for Stan. Kathy was attempting to schedule one-on-one meetings with the aldermen. What I've come to realize, and I'd like you to hear this, these aldermen are elected officials. Kathy Stepp is in administration. Kathy is responsible for notifying the board of all the activities that are going on within the city. If one-on-one meetings are not working for the aldermen, in my opinion, it is up to Kathy Stepp to amend the process of how to send communications, and that may be either phone calls or emails or text or other forms of communication. But the fact that Kathy has invited aldermen to attend meetings, and the aldermen didn't attend those meetings, in my opinion, that's not on the aldermen. So I think what you'll see is some aldermen have already told me that they will be visiting with Kathy because that's the form of communication Kathy's choosing. But if there's aldermen that choose not to do that, they are still deserving of receiving the information that the rest of the board receives.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I guess this is just as good a time as any to ask if I send you all weekly or bi-weekly updates, pretty regularly via email. Is there anybody here not getting those, or would you like them sent differently? I'm trying to figure out the best way to make that connection. Unfortunately, email is just a one-way attempt, but at least, you're getting, I copy all the directors on the different correspondences that we send out to you all too, but if there's a better way to do it, I'm wide open. I'd love to hear your ideas, because I do too. It's time to move forward as a group, and I firmly believe that.
Well, we're trying, but someone won't let it die.
I don't know what else, I scheduled the meeting, I had the meeting, we have a standing meeting now. I don't know what else I can do to, as you say, bury the hatchet. So I'm a little confused too, because I feel like I've done the very thing you asked me to do.
And she didn't bite, did she? You probably had a productive enough meeting that you're willing to go back again.
What more do you want from me? I come to these meetings, which are required by city ordinance. I come twice a month. I come to Finance Committee. I go to other events as an alderman. I have a job. I've got kids. I'm missing 2 basketball games tonight for my kids. I don't know what more I can give you to appease you, and you keep you kept bringing this up for the last few meetings. I don't know what more I can give besides the time I volunteer, which is far more than what you saw in your records request. So I guess that's my perspective, is you see a calendar appointment, but that doesn't even begin to cover the emails, the phone calls, the time here, the time not here. I mean, there's so much more that we all do. I don't know what more I can do. I mean, I don't get paid to do this. I don't know if we're clear on that. So I've got to make money at a job.
Understood. Alderman Denham, Alderman Howden, Alderman LeBlanc, thank you very much for meeting with the new administrator, getting to know her, and representing our wards.
Well,
Oh, my God.
actually, I'd like to add something, and to this whole thing. I've spoken with each alderman, and from the beginning, we definitely have different personalities as to how we operate in meeting with each other, and then also meeting with Kathy. I too spend a lot of time that's not on the calendar, volunteering as we all do. But when we look at the scope of like what we each individually do outside of the city government, there's definitely some of us that are kind of more time as operators in their businesses. Like, I'll say this, and I'm just comparison. Clay probably has more time as an operator in his business as I do in my chiropractic office, simply because his level of responsibility to his 89 employees, the rent, not even the rent, the mortgage, the electric bill, all of those things compared to how I operate, there's a different distinction, and a little bit I'm closer. I mean, so my ability to spend more time in contrast with Clay is not really a fair comparison when you look at his kids are still in school, mine are all graduated. There's a lot of things that go into how we're able to prioritize our operation within as an alderman. I know Marshall has more free time, but his time is going to be allocated to a new employment that he has and things like that. So all of those things kind of ebb and flow and change. But to try to, and I mean, Cherry, we have a lot of discussions and a lot of history over the last couple of years, and I don't want this, but to compare like how much time I put in to Clay, it really doesn't weigh very well, because he definitely has a lot more going on. And same thing with
Well, you make it sound like I don't put any time in.
No.
She has no idea what I do.
I'm saying you put.
I had 2 city meetings today.
You put the board time plus.
I'm on the CID board, I'm on the chamber
Right.
board, I'm on this board, I have kids in school, I've got 84 employees, I got a wife.
Right. And that's what I'm
I got
saying, like
shit
your
going on.
outside of the board stuff is like kind of, you occupy more bandwidth
I don't
doing
have
that.
time to sit and cherry pick and go through everything to come up here and complain
And that's
every
what
2
that's
weeks
kinda
and
what I'm
pick
getting at,
people's
like-
lives apart because I
Yeah.
don't have one. I have a
Well-
life.
Right.
Okay.
But okay, yeah, so let me just kind of follow up by saying, we allocate the time that we can based on what we can. We do the necessary things, and then when we can volunteer, we do more. We all definitely do more than people see. Like, across the board, we do. And the emails come through. There's emails where we're all, kind of lumped in, and we have to read all those and respond accordingly. But, so there's a lot that goes on that's not just physically one-on-one. The choice that I made was based on what I felt I needed to get up to speed to be an alderman and represent. That's just what I'm committed to doing. I don't think my commitment is any less than Clay's, any less than Cody's, any less than Chuck's. I think we're all committed to being here, and we're going to do the best job that we can, and we're going to do it as a board. We're not going to do it as individuals. We're going to do it as a board, a mayor, a city administrator, and I think that's the operation that everyone will see moving forward, is that we're going to operate as a board. Are we always going to agree? Probably not, but for the most part, that's what you're going to see moving forward, and that's how we want to move forward as a board.
But there hasn't been a boycott. A boycott to me would say that when we're back there in executive, if Kathy speaks, and any of the three of these don't respond to her. You know, even Chuck, who might have run the biggest campaign against Kathy, has not boycotted her when we speak in these meetings. This point has been made. No one handed me a piece of paper when I got elected alderman and said you have to meet with the city administrator monthly. That was not something that was on the plate. Again, it was something that I sort of, the more this gets brought up as it's a boycott or there's teams, or imagine putting yourself in the other shoes of a person where maybe you voted against or something. You might feel like, oh, if it's being put as a boycott, then maybe I would feel less likely to meet with somebody like that. You know, it just continues. The more it's agita, the more it's head to head. I just disagree with the boycott thing, but, you know, it's been characterized differently than what I've perceived.
I mean, if I was boycotting her, I wouldn't have stopped in her office and said hi and tell her I love her new desk and stuff. I mean, I talked to her, I'm respectful to her. I haven't been to a one-on-one meeting, but I've been at many other meetings with her, and I feel like we have a great relationship, so, whatever.
Mayor, could I just address one more thing? Ms. Cherry, you have been so generous with your praise of me, and you know how much I'm so thankful for that. I really am. And it was a very, very difficult election. It was very, very hard on me, personally, professionally, on my husband, to endure the mistruths, the lies, frankly, that were told about me and my qualifications for this job. It was very, very difficult for me to take. And anytime the public has reached out to contact me, my directors, my staff, to come up and just see how I'm doing, it has blessed me richly, and I will never be able to thank you enough. I will also tell you that I have had very productive meetings with Cody now, that Clay has been very gracious to me as well, and I will always stand ready to meet with any one of these people anytime, any place, and I've made that offer many times, but I do greatly respect the amount of drag that these jobs can have on their lives and the life balance. And the last thing I just want to say is, I'm so ready. Branson is positioned and poised right now to take off in a positive way to the stratosphere, because we are firing on all cylinders here in City Hall for the first time, from what I've heard, by all accounts, in 30 years. I mean, it's a new day. And I know with the outcome of this election and with the conversations I've had with many of the folks up here in front of you, the time is now. And I'm ready to stand arm in arm and work with them just as hard as everybody here and every taxpayer deserves. And I appreciate you coming, because you take a risk. You put yourself out there when you come and you speak publicly. And I appreciate that you did that. And equally, I'm telling you, the time is now. We're ready to move on.
I appreciate that. And if you're happy with the situation the way it is, that's all that matters.
I am.
Because this city has so much going for it, and I think you can lead us to those great heights.
I believe I can, but only with this team up here. They're the ones that set the direction, they set the policy, we implement. And man, just buckle up, because there's really, really bright days ahead for Branson.
Great.
Thank you, Jerry. Madam Clerk?
Your Honor, there are no more speakers.
Okay, next is the consent agenda. Are there any items that anybody in the audience would like to see brought down from the consent agenda to ask questions or to get further explanation? Are there any items that the board would like to see brought down from consent? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please read the items on the consent agenda?
Your Honor, the items on the consent agenda are as follows. Approval of the Board of Aldermen minutes for the March 28th, 2023 study session and March 28th, 2023 regular meeting. Final reading of Bill Number 6280, an ordinance amending Chapters 1 and 82 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to definitions and rules of construction and taxation. Final reading of Bill Number 6281, an ordinance amending Section 2-383 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to project initiation. Final reading of Bill Number 6282, an ordinance approving the contract with Hood & Associates CPA PC for auditing services and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. Final reading of Bill Number 6283, an ordinance approving the renewal of the contract with Arvest Bank for purchase card services and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. Final reading of Bill Number 6284, an ordinance approving the renewal of the contract with Central Bank for banking services and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. Final reading of Bill Number 6285, an ordinance amending the adopted 2022 budget for the city of Branson to adjust monies in the general fund for an increase in transfers. Final reading of Bill Number 6286, an ordinance amending the adopted 2023 budget for the City of Branson to adjust monies in the Tourism Fund for an increase in tourism marketing expenses. Final reading of Bill Number 6287, an ordinance amending the adopted 2023 budget for the City of Branson to adjust monies in the Capital Improvement Fund for an increase in ERP expenses. Final reading of Bill Number 6288, an ordinance accepting the proposal of Tyler Technologies for enterprise resource planning software and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. Final reading of Bill Number 6289, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of cellular services and products from Verizon Wireless and authorizing the mayor to execute the documents related thereto. Final reading of Bill Number 6291, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute the First Amendment to ground lease agreement with Ballparks of America, LLC. Final reading of Bill Number 6292, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a road easement agreement between the City of Branson and Ballparks of America, LLC, pertaining to Pat Nash Drive. Final reading of Bill Number 6293, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to approve the First Amendment to real estate purchase agreement with Ballparks of America, LLC. And final reading of Bill Number 6294, an ordinance dedicating Pat Nash Drive as a public street right-of-way. Your Honor, that concludes the reading of the consent agenda. The floor is open for a motion approving all items on the consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments from the audience? Questions, comments from the board? Hearing none, let's vote.
I vote yes.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please provide an introduction to this next item?
This is the certification of election results by Stephanie Spencer, Taney County Clerk. The following is an official certificate of election results for the municipal election held in Taney County, Missouri on April 4th, 2023 upon the following. City of Branson Mayor, Larry Milton, 818 votes. Karen Best, 614 votes. Charles Chuck Rodriguez, 97 votes. Alderman Ward 1, Clay Cooper, 357 votes. Alderman Ward 2, Cody Fenton, 456 votes. Alderman Ward 3, Ruth Denham, 436 votes. This was certified by the Taney County Clerk the 7th day of April 2023. The next item is adjourn sine die. The floor is open for a motion.
I want to have you have an alderman make that motion.
Just to say sine die, it's really fun.
Anybody want to take a shot?
Sanda.
I need a bold alderman to make this motion.
Mr. Mayor, I motion that we adjourn sine die.
Good.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second. Please vote, unless you have any questions.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries.
Hillary,
Yes.
for transparency, would you share with the audience what that means?
Yes, so we just adjourned our current legislative session. So that is the Latin term for closing one session. And then we are going to commence with administering oaths of office, and then we'll start our new legislative session with our newly sworn-in board. So really quick to let the record reflect, the current legislative session is adjourned, and the new legislative session will begin with the administrating of the oaths of office. And with that, Mayor Milton, come on down.
Oh, I won.
Sayonara.
I did, yes, ma'am. You ready? I, Larry Milton,
I, Larry Milton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
all the qualifications
all the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of mayor,
for the office of mayor,
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions
the provisions
of all laws
of all laws,
of this state,
covenants,
of this state
of this state,
affecting cities
affecting cities
of this class
of this class,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the city of Branson,
of the city of Branson,
and will faithfully
and will faithfully
demean myself
demean myself
sorry, while in office.
while in office.
There you go. Congratulations. Alderman Cooper.
Where's the cowboy hat? No cowboy hat this time.
It's a problem.
You ready? I, Clay Cooper,
I, Clay Cooper,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
all the qualifications
all the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
by the office of
Alderman Ward 1,
Alderman Ward 1,
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions
the provisions
of all laws
of all laws
of this state
of this state
affecting cities
affecting cities
of this class,
of this class
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the city of Branson,
city of Branson,
and will faithfully and will faithfully
and will faithfully
demean myself
demean myself
while in office.
while in office.
Alderman Fenton.
Because wondering why you're dressed up tonight.
All right, I, Cody Fenton,
I, Cody Fenton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
all the qualifications
all the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
Alderman Ward 2,
Alderman Ward 2,
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions
the provisions
of all laws
of all laws
of this state
of this state
affecting cities
affecting cities
of this class,
of this class
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the city of Branson,
of the city of Branson,
and will faithfully
and will faithfully
demean myself
demean myself
while in office.
while in office.
Boom.
Alderman Denham. Ready? I, Ruth Denham,
I, Ruth Denham,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
that I possess
all the qualifications
all the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
Alderman Ward 3,
Alderman Ward 3,
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions
the provisions
of all laws
of all laws
of this state
of this state
affecting cities
affecting cities
of this class,
of this class,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the city of Branson,
of the city of Branson,
and will faithfully
demean myself
while in office.
while in office.
Very good. There you go.
Is me?
Yes.
I will now call the new legislative session to order. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Fenton,
Here.
Denham,
Here.
Cooper,
Here.
Milton,
Here.
Rodriguez, Howden,
Here.
LeBlanc.
Here.
Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Nominations are now open for the acting president of the board.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Clay Cooper.
Second.
Third,
Fourth.
5.
It's unanimous.
Nominations are now closed. So the board will be voting on, state your name, Clay Cooper. Madam Clerk will now provide a roll call vote.
Benton?
Yes.
Denham?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Howden?
Yes.
LeBlanc?
Absolutely.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Your Honor, let the record reflect Clay Cooper is elected as acting president of the board.
Hall of Famer Clay Cooper, by the way.
That's right, Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
And he did an excellent job filling in for me in my absence.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution naming My Ozark Mountain Home by the Petersons as the first official song of Branson. The floor is open for a motion adopting this resolution.
I'll second.
We have a motion. Clay seconded. Are there any questions or comments from anybody in the audience? Staff report?
We had one.
Yeah, we did.
We already had one.
Okay.
We had it at the last
Kathy
meeting.
had
Do
something.
you have something,
No, I
Kathy?
don't. Nope, nope. Carry on.
Hearing none from the audience, are there any aldermen that have any questions or comments?
Just think this is a fantastic idea. Once again, it's called the first, not the only. We want citizens to come forward. I think the Petersons have already been recruiting people to write more songs, you know. So just think it's a phenomenal way to honor our community. We are a music town, and what a fantastic song.
Marshals, thanks for clarifying that. That's not the one and only song, right? We anticipate having several. So let's vote.
Alderman Howden?
Got it.
Yes. Okay. The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is a resolution of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Branson, Missouri, stating facts and reasons for the necessity to amend and increase the city's annual budget for fiscal year 2022. The floor is open for a motion adopting this resolution.
We have a motion,
Can we get a verbal second?
Second.
Thank you.
and Ben, are you online?
I am,
We'll get a staff report from Ben.
absolutely. Mayor, Board of Aldermen, the next two items are really related to the same subject. They are a budget amendment necessary to cover cost of the attorney services for 2022. You recall here in the last few months, I've mentioned that as we continue to close the books for the year, I will be bringing forward to you necessary amendments to make sure that we've got the legal actions taken in place for our external audit. So what this does is allow the annual preparations to increase for those legal services.
Thank you. And Kathy, would you take just a minute and share about our new attorney, Joe Lauber, please?
I'm happy to, Mr. Mayor. Joe's joining us again this evening, and we reached out to his firm to find out if there was a way to do legal services inside the city better than what had been done in the past. Not just the most recent need to fill the gap while we were without an in-house city attorney, but also just looking at how can we get, more expertise for less money. I'm sorry, Joe. I don't want to make Joe sound like he's the Walmart option or something, because that's not the case.
That's a cheap lawyer.
Yeah, exactly, if
Let
there
us
is such a
know.
thing. But anyway, we reached out to his firm, and frankly, we've been having trouble recruiting to find a really good quality candidate. Even though we're using Baker Tilly for their recruiting process, still the field is very, very small. And in fact, more and more municipalities have been getting rid of their in-house legal teams, and they've been doing, having it contracted out instead. And the beauty of what we've got with Joe, and this has been working really well so far, is that he's got, is it 11 other staff attorneys, Joe, or 12? 12 other staff attorneys. And each one of those professionals in his team has kind of carved out like little expertise areas. So you could never get that all embodied in one city attorney. So to be able to just pick up the phone and call, and also he's got office hours here that we rotate, and he's got his other team members that come down here and rotate so our folks can get to know them better. This is working out really, really well. So I'm very thankful to say that, you know, we've come up with an alternative, at least in the interim now, as we continue to debate if we should just go with one attorney or perhaps look at doing something like this more as a full-time option. So there'll be more conversations about that in the coming weeks.
Great, and I know when I was introduced to Joe, Joe, you and your firm, you have a tremendous amount of municipal experience. Would you share that just a little bit, please?
Sure, Mayor. Actually, it's the only type of law that we practice. We don't represent any private clients. The only clients that we represent are cities or other local government entities, and we only represent local government entities and would never represent anybody against a local government entity. So I've been blessed to have a dozen other attorneys join my group, and as Ms. Stepp was pointing out, we have a very deep bench. We have the ability to have folks who work in very specific areas of municipal law to have a deeper knowledge, and we hope that we can bring that to bear for the city of Branson.
Great, appreciate you, welcome aboard. Are we voting on this? So, anybody in the audience wishing to speak regarding this matter? And the matter is, we're looking at increasing the annual budget for fiscal 2022 to cover our legal expenses. Any questions, comments from the board? Hearing none, let's vote.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is the first reading of Bill Number 6295, an ordinance amending the adopted 2022 budget for the City of Branson to adjust monies in the general fund for an increase in legal expenses. The floor is open for a motion to approve the first reading of Bill Number 6295.
So, Madam Clerk, for clarity, item number 17, was that purpose to increase for the legal expense?
Second.
I'm going to let our new city attorney answer that.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, when we came on board and were looking at the city's processes for approving budget amendments, we realized that there had been one of the procedural steps that's required by statute had been lacking. And state statutes, when we are amending an adopted budget, do require a resolution to be passed by the board. And the purpose of the resolution is to state the facts and reasons for the necessity to do the amendment. Once you've adopted that resolution to establish those facts and reasons, then you may pass an ordinance that actually does the amendment.
Very nice. Thank you. But what do you know? Just kidding. Any questions, comments from the audience?
So really quick, I'm so sorry. Can we get a second on that? I got it. Alderman LeBlanc.
Sorry about that. We've had the staff report from Ben. Any questions from the audience? Questions, comments from the board? Hearing none, let's vote. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Mayor.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is the first reading of Bill Number 6296, an ordinance approving the contract with Viking Sives Midwest Incorporated for the purchase of a 3-ton truck model chassis with a dump truck and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. The floor is open for a motion to approve the first reading of Bill Number 6296.
We have a motion.
Second.
And a verbal second from Chuck, and we'll get a staff report from Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, 2 qualified bids are received on February 21st for the purchase of a 3-ton truck model class chassis with a dump bed. You can see the 2 bids are Phoenix Contracting, $170,000, and Viking Sives Sieves Midwest, $127,879. This is to replace a 1996, which is 27 years old, F-350 flatbed with a dump bed that is taken out of service in February of 2022 and surplus due to mechanical issues and lack of availability of parts. I think it was a transmission. A replacement vehicle is needed to haul mulch, dirt, and other materials, heavy logs. You pick up and down trees in parks, trails, and city properties. Staff recommends approval of the contract with Viking Sieves Midwest in the amount not to exceed $127,879 for the 2023 contract period. Be happy to answer any questions.
Cindy, this was in our approved budget?
Yes, it's in the capital budget for 2023.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the audience? Questions, comments from the board? Hearing none, let's vote. Thank you, Cindy.
Alderman Howden. The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is a resolution amending the adopted 2023 budget for the City of Branson to adjust monies for additional expenses in the Water Sewer Capital Fund for the purchase of an international dump truck. The floor is open for a motion adopting this resolution.
We have a motion. And a second from Chuck. We'll get a staff report from Kendall.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. We are asking approval of a budget amendment and a contract to purchase a replacement dump truck for our water distribution crew. We originally budgeted $120,000 in 2022. However, we was unable to find available unit in the market. We was able to locate a unit through a cooperative bid platform through Rush Truck Centers of Missouri. The pricing came in higher than expected at $139,250. We are asking for an additional $30,000 to cover for the unit cost plus additional commodity charges. This concludes my report.
Kendall, was that additional amount approved in our 23 budget?
No, it is not. This would be a request for a budget amendment.
Okay, so we can increase to pay that.
That is correct, yes.
Any questions from the audience? Questions, comments from the board? Hearing none, let's vote. Why don't you use Cindy's truck?
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Your Honor, the next item is the first reading of Bill Number 6297, an ordinance amending the adopted 2023 budget for the City of Branson to adjust monies for additional expenses in the Water Sewer Capital Fund and approving the contract with Rush Truck Centers of Missouri Incorporated, DBA Rush Truck Center Springfield, for the purchase of an international dump truck and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. The floor is open for a motion to approve the first reading of Bill Number 6297.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second from Clay, and a staff report from Kendall, please.
This would be the similar staff report to the last item, so I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Just ditto.
Yes, ditto.
Same questions from the audience then? Same questions from the board? Let's vote.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is the first reading of Bill Number 6298, an ordinance approving the contract with Flynn Drilling Company Incorporated for the purchase of a groundwater well pump assembly for City Well Number 5 and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. The floor is open for a motion to approve the first reading of Bill Number 6298.
We have a motion. Second from Ralph, and a staff report from Kendall, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, we are seeking approval to enter into a contract with Flynn Drilling Company, Inc. to replace our well pump assembly at our Well 5 location. Funds are budgeted for the 2023 capital improvements project. The contract price is $90,185.25. This concludes my report.
Any questions, comments from the audience? questions from the board?
Kendall's spending a lot of money tonight.
Yeah, I
ain't he?
noticed that.
What's that all about?
Proactive maintenance.
Ah, good answer.
Saves us money down the road, doesn't it, Kendall? Any questions from the board? Hearing none, let's vote.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Kendall. We're at the 10 after 7. We're at the report section of our meeting. Cody, you're on deck.
Mayor, I want to thank you for keeping me right here so that I get to go first again and steal everybody's thunder for another year. So I assume this is where I'm staying, but I appreciate that.
I think we'll
Am I
address that at
getting
the
ahead of
next
myself?
meeting.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
Don't get all excited.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Now, I just want to say thanks to everybody that came out and voted last week. I truly believe that's one of the greatest rights we have, is to be able to vote and to be able to elect representatives to represent us. And so selfishly, I wish more people would show up and take advantage of that opportunity. I think it's something we shouldn't take for granted, the ability to do that. Even the folks that came out and got to vote for us, they could have just easily passed over that and not marked that box. And so to the people that did and took that time, I'm appreciative of that. And just to rub it in for just a second, you guys heard that certification earlier. It had the highest number of votes of any alderman, so I get to wear that crown for this year. So I told the mayor last week, I said, that's my goal. That's why I'm standing out here all day, so I can get the most votes of anybody. So I did it. No, I'm kidding. I really do appreciate everybody that voted and took the time to do that. So that's all I got tonight, and thank you guys.
Thank you. Ruth?
This was more exciting to me this year than 2 years ago when we got in. I had so much fun going door knocking. I love visiting with people in my ward. We got a lot of questions answered. We got more ideas coming through. So I really enjoy working with, this was just fun. I'm excited for what we have in front of us. I want to thank my Lord Jesus for allowing me to have 2 more years to serve, and appreciate questions, comments from the public. Thank you to my family for all your patience and support during these last few months because it got a little crazy. Citizens of Ward 3. And then I wanted to say thank you to Howard Eisner and Dieger Construction for the ginormous signage. Thank you for that gift. We are greatly appreciative. And to the poll workers. And I want to congratulate Alderman Cooper, Alderman Fenton, and I look forward to serving with our fantastic mayor for the next 2 years. And thank you so much, everybody, for all your support.
Thank you, Ruth. Clay?
Yeah. Marshall and I had a nice meeting today. We can't talk about a lot of the details, I'm sure, but looks like a really cool possible development coming in not far from our theater up on the Strip, and hope that moves along and will be very, very cool for the town and the community and the tourists that visit. So look forward to seeing that move through the process and hope that pans out. And also wanted to plug an event we're having. Is it Saturday, honey? The Missouri Baptist Children's Home is a huge organization that helps kids in need, and they give shelter to battered single mothers. And they're just a great organization. They're involved with the Mercy Children's Hospitals around the country. They were involved with us when our youngest had some health issues when he was young. And so for about 10 years, we hold an event at our theater every year and raise money to help them help others. So we're having an event Saturday. It's 10 a.m. And we have, who's on the show? Doug Gabriel, Six, Melody Hart and Friends, Carrie Garrison, Yakov will be there with us.
Clay Cooper?
Yeah, I'll be there hosting. Yeah, but if you're looking for something to do, 10 a.m. They have a great silent auction up in the lobby, and you can get some really cool gifts, and all the proceeds go to the Missouri Baptist Children's Home to help these mothers and kids in need. And I'm not sure what it is to get in, but again, it's just a great cause, and you're going to see some great entertainment. So invite anybody to come out to the Clay Cooper Theater Saturday at 10 a.m. And then the following Saturday, we have our yearly Music Fest. Is that the following Saturday? The old Branson Fest is called Music Fest now, which we host every year, and that's going to be a 2-day event. A lot of motor coaches come into town, and we have tons of entertainers throughout the day, both days. So a lot of cool stuff kicking off the new year, and just want to invite everybody to come out, and good to be here for another 2 years. Thank you.
I'm going to take cuts here real quick and let everybody know, if you don't already know, Clay Cooper, our Clay Cooper, has been inducted to the Texas Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah!
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
Yep. No small.
Chuck, what you got?
I got nothing.
Marshall?
I was at a meeting that our state representative, Brian Seitz, was at, and he talked about a bill of his, which was kind of interesting, and I really appreciate it. I hadn't heard about this bill yet. He wants to limit the naming of state days, and that's sort of appropriate because something that we've done, right? His point, and I agree with it wholeheartedly as a person who finds the value in some of these things, is, Larry, they are naming state days for everybody and their grandma. And they're basically limiting the importance of it and the power of it, And I just really appreciate that. So what he's doing is he's wanting to make it basically you have to have passed away 3 years. So then, then of course a scandal can't come out about your life or whatever. And I just wanted to bring that up because one of the things that I did when we've done the Mickey Gilly Day and Mel Tillis Day and all these things is I went back and I looked all the proclamations that have been made since 1990, and I brought that up because the last thing that we want to do is take the authority of this board to have a proclamation or your authority and sort of dwindle that or water that down. We take these seriously. These are people that we discuss that have meant a great deal to this community, and we don't just throw it out there and give it willy-nilly. So I really appreciated Brian's bill, and I think it also fits in the spirit of someone like me who appreciates things like this, that we take these seriously. We don't just hand them out willy-nilly, and there are things that we feel that can be really positive momentum builders behind our city and get the messaging out there about who we are and what we stand for. So I appreciate Brian about that. Congratulations, everybody, on their re-election, and I really look forward to working with this team. So, thank you.
Thank you. Felt like a little empathy applause. Ralph, you're up.
Sympathy. I guess I'll start by, it's going to sound a little somber. There are 3 constants: death, taxes, and change. The election is to represent change if need be. And the residents of our community came out and they spoke for what they stood for. And what that translates to me is that we have a board here that are doing the right thing and we're going in the right direction. And the only part about change that I feel is coming from this board is how we work together moving forward. And, understanding the level of respect that I have for each and every one of you, for Cody, for Ruth, for Clay, for Chuck, and for Marshall, and for you, the mayor. I hope to emphasize that in the coming year because I'm up for election in another year. But I really want to know that it's not, gosh, like it's an honor and a privilege to serve the residents of this community. And I think that each of us embody that. We've all visited over the last couple years and we've worked together and sat in some hard conversations. But what an honor it is to sit at this dais and represent the residents of the community, the staff of the city of Branson. And I know that each and every one of you are going to see some amazing things happening in this city over the next 365 days that will absolutely blow your minds because I know the game plan And what I mean by that is what we've already approved, all of the things, all the capital improvements, all of the amazing, things, the police station, the fire station, Station 4, those things are going to happen. They are like in play, and we're going to watch it go from the ground up, and it is going to be a beautiful thing. So to all of you that ran, congratulations, and thank you for serving again. Clay, Cody, I appreciate you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy? No, there's no clap.
I didn't want him to have hurt feelings. First of all, congratulations, Mayor, and congratulations to the aldermen on your reelection. It is indeed an honor to be able to sit here and to serve with you, alongside you. I guess I'm just going to express again, my open doors, my open arms, open heart, open calendar for opportunities for us to connect, so that I can, first of all, get to know you all better. And that's what was the most fun about the meeting with Cody, is we were actually laughing through most of it. And that's a good thing, to have laughter in these days. And I appreciated that he was willing to donate and give more time to the city by meeting with me. So thank you for that, Cody. And Clay, I know how busy you are. And I know I now know all the demands on your time. But I know what it's like, when you're an elected official and just all those different demands coming at you at all times. I have no doubt that we'll get together soon. And whether it's by email that I'm giving you updates, or carrier pigeon, I'm open to all types of suggestions. Whatever works best for each alderman, I'm more than willing to do that. And maybe even just an acknowledgement when I do send out those update emails, just like a received, or even just R, if you don't have time to even type out the word received, just so I know you're getting them, because it dismays me when I hear that some people think they're not getting information, and I'm disseminating that same information to everybody. So if you all could just send me a little acknowledgement, that would be really helpful to me. But again, I'm wide open, and the paths are cleared for future success for Branson. So congratulations to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. I just have a few things. I don't know if you've heard it in the press, but we have a high school here called Lynx, and their basketball team won a national championship. It was a Geico National Championship, and they're going to be honored. Is it Friday?
No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, Wednesday. Hope I'm there. Wednesday at 5:30 down at Branson Landing. There's going to be a parade for them and some acknowledgement. So if you have any interest, I'd like you to attend that. I read in the press that there was a real low voter turnout this year, and according to the Taney County Clerk's Office, there was about a 17% turnout, which is about average for our area. I know in '21 it was a record turnout, but I think last year was 14%. So it's a shame only 17% of the people in our community get to decide how the other 83% are governed, but that's the way it works. I am honored and tickled to serve another 2 years as your mayor. I have said, and I'll continue to say, my intention is clear. I want to be your voice and bring your voice to City Hall. The community, in my opinion, from my experience, is getting more and more involved, sharing things, making requests, seeing things happen, and I couldn't be any more proud. And I will not let this moment go by without me thanking my shy, my rock. She's my Olivia Pope, my wife, Leanne Milton. So if you want to know who really runs the city. That's it. Madam Clerk.
The next item is adjourned. The floor is open to adjourn the Board of Aldermen meeting.
motion? Chuck seconded. All in favor? Oh, let's vote. Thank you all very, very much.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Meeting adjourned.